there's a lot we can get from that. Because the idea of choosing your path, because like, yeah, this path could be it can be a little bit rougher, but at the same time, I'm not choosing to like go with that. If you're always choosing the easy path in life, the soft path in life, you're not really ever going to go through those challenges to build those calluses like you're talking about, because you're always choosing the easy path. Much in the same way that if we're always taking like just the easy route, you know, in life, we're not going after those challenges and those struggles that actually are some of our best lessons. Like some of the most useful things you can learn in life you'll learn from going through extremely difficult situations. And those serve a purpose. Like that's part of cosmic law. Like that's why we see, like in the pagan perspective, we don't discount those things. We see those things like, even though they're difficult, they're still beautiful experiences, because they're really helping you forge yourself into like a new, I mean, imagine like a blacksmith forging a sword. You have to take the raw material, you have to heat it up, and then you have to like literally beat it and fold it and cool it down and heat it up. And it's this whole kind of alchemical process that you're going through, but it's a very intense process. You know, so that's not a comfortable thing to go through, but is it worth it? You know, I think in the long run, if you look at it, that definitely is. And the temporary pain is far outweighed by the benefit of the lessons and the growth that you'll experience by being willing to step into that discomfort zone and challenge yourself.
Exactly. And what that was bringing up for me too is how only by doing that are you ever going to build your confidence. I spent a long time, the majority of the years of my life, being very not confident and doubting myself all the time and having social anxiety and things like that. Why? Because what you just said, Brian, I wasn't going after those challenges. You can't fake confidence. You can't just trick yourself into believe. Just believe in yourself. No, it doesn't work that way. Confidence comes through action, proving to yourself that you have it, that you have what it takes, that you are enough. You can't. That's not guesswork. You have to know it, because confidence, true confidence, has to be unshakable. That's the whole point, is not letting anyone else impose their truth or their will upon you, because you're a sovereign fucking being. And that's only going to come about through aligned action, not sitting around in your feels. Like, feel your feelings, don't suppress them. That's, you know, there's a balance there too. But then, you know, like I said, be that father in your own mind of just like, okay, you fell down, sucks, feel that, now get your ass up and get back on the horse. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't wallow in that victimhood. So, and then like, this really relates into kind of being a spiritual warrior. It's about being a warrior in terms of being at battle with ignorance, you know, injustice, like actually being a force that is alchemizing everything into harmony for all beings, not the will of the ego. And that's like the justified warrior, essentially, which again is kind of a masculine energy. So that's why we're portraying it like the quote talks about men. Again, it's not about gender. It's about being that strong, fearsome warrior that is never afraid to back down. It always comes back to fear. That's why we put our emotions first and don't take action. We're afraid. But what if this? What if that? Yeah, but if you don't, that's not a what if. It's you will be stagnant. You will be weak and paralyzed and powerless until you change it.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the concept of the spiritual warrior, because you know, something we talk about a lot, but it very much is, that's like a very foundational part of the mindset of the spiritual warrior, is being willing to like, not that you're just not just willing to go through challenges, but that you actively challenge yourself. Like you're stepping into your discomfort zone willingly. You know, I think Odin is a wonderful example of this. We've spoken about, you know, his sacrifice on the tree of life, on the Yggdrasil, you know, where he hung himself. He sacrificed himself unto himself in order to gain the knowledge of the runes. And, you know, if you look into mythology, he takes the runes, you know, screaming, I took them up. You know, it wasn't just this easy process. It was a sacrifice. It was uncomfortable. It was difficult. You know, if you look at his other sacrifice in the story where he's sacrificing his eye in the well of a mirror to gain wisdom, he plucks out his eye. You know, like it's a sacrifice. It's uncomfortable, but he's doing it to gain that wisdom, to better himself, to transform into something else. That's really the mindset of the spiritual. Like, if you really want to understand a spiritual warrior, understand like Odin as an archetype. Very, very, very good archetype to tap into for this kind of energy. And it's that woad, it's that vigor, that ecstasy for life, and the like learning new things. Like, that's that passion, that fuel that they're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. So fucking what? Like, bring it on, because I want that. Like, that's the attitude you have to start to embody when you go after that. And that's very, very different from the victimhood mindset that many people kind of get stuck in.
Yeah. And, you know, again, ask yourself, how often are you sacrificing your eye for that gain, for that expansion, for that awareness? That should be the highest pursuit. You cannot underestimate the power of pain as a catalyst to your awakening. Take it back to the barefoot story. Why did I have that epiphany? Because my feet hurt. Because I was uncomfortable, and my brain said, oh, wait, and it activated my awareness of what can I extrapolate from this experience to be more empowered? And that's exactly what happens. And that should be going on all the time. And, you know, I struggle with this sometimes. Right. Every day is different. You've got so many variables that affect your mood and how tapped in you are, you know, and there's days you're going to feel off. But, you know, it's not about that perfection. It's about striving for the ideal, the perfection. Mm-hmm. You should always be striving for that, paying attention. But again, motion creates emotion. So if you want to awaken more, if you want to be more tapped in and get those downloads, walk around barefoot in the river on sharp rocks. Do something to get into the discomfort zone and shake your awareness out of your fucking sleepwalk.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. It's a choice.
It's like when someone's choosing, like, they want to improve their body, so they choose to go start out a workout regimen. Like, they know, there's going to be pain and discomfort involved with that, but it's for the purpose of strengthening the body. That kind of leads into it. This can kind of relate to the concept of like instant gratification that we talked about in our episode we did called the magic pill, like why we want it now. And it could be that not only the instant gratification of avoiding the pain, but many times, you know, you can look at the choices like, well, do you want some of this pain and discomfort now, or do you want more of it later? Mm-hmm. Because if you're choosing to always take the easy path, you're going to set yourself up for, at some point, you're going to meet a challenging road and you're not going to be prepared for it, because life is just not this little stroll through the park. It's not only easy. So if you can't just choose that over and over again without at some point the difficult choice coming up. There's always going to be a difficult choice. There's always going to be a rough path that at some point you're going to get that reality check and realize you have no fucking choice but to walk down that path. And are you going to do it complaining, or are you going to be willing to do it? So you say, I'm going to take that hard road because it's going to get me there faster. Yes. You know, there's like a mountain. You could choose to go straight over it and get where you're going, or there might be like a really easy path, but it's like way around it. It takes you a long time to get there. You know, being willing to just go through that difficult process, you achieve your goals faster because you are challenging yourself in that way.
Yeah, I like to look at it like this. The pain part, that's inevitable. It's unavoidable. Every choice that you're making is either growing you or it's killing you. Look at it this way. Every choice you make, it's doing one thing or the other. So the expansion, you've heard of growing pains, right? Think of that as a spiritual concept. It's always growing pains. It's going to hurt at first. Even like healing, right? Purging toxins or ripping a fucking hot bullet out of your flesh. Yeah, it's going to hurt really bad at first, but the long-term reward is the desired one, the actual desired one. Whereas if you left it in, you're avoiding that pain, but it's killing you. That's a perfect metaphor for all of this. You can, do things like yoga or working out or like juice fasting. There's a good one. You know, very uncomfortable, very, very healing. Your discomfort now with long-term benefits and growth and like, you know, wellness versus the toxic behaviors, fast food, cigarettes, gambling, Netflix. Like it's that instant pleasure, it's that sending that dopamine, but then what is that doing over long term? Those behaviors are destroying you physically and mentally.
Right.
So it's like, again, the pain part's inevitable, but you're empowered because you get to choose how you want your pain and what that pain is going towards, right? When you're poisoning your body, is that pain helping you? Is it actually serving you in any way? No, it's just withering you away. But when you choose that pain in the gym or on the fast or whatever, that pain is serving something. It's getting you somewhere towards that goal.